Hey everyone, welcome back to another season of The Broker Link. It is now 2023. I cannot believe it, but we are excited to be back with you. You know, there's a popular business statistic that I like to remind you of this time of year, and that's that attracting new clients on average is going to cost you 5 times more than keeping an existing client. So what are you really selling? Is it the product? Or is it your service? Your clients can get these products anywhere, so why should they stick with you? And that's what we're going to answer today.
Welcome to the Broker Link, your trusted source for growing your insurance business. Brought to you by The Brokerage Inc.
Loyalty. You know, it can be pretty rare these days. Our whole industry is set up as a rebellion to loyalty, if you think about it. We have new plans that come out every year. They're competing with one another. And you could make the argument this is good, right? Because this forces the carriers to improve their products. It makes things more competitive. But it also shapes consumer behavior, whether you're on the Medicare or the ACA side. Both product lines, that's kind of the name of the game. Every year, I'm looking for that new plan. I'm looking to see if I've got the best deal, right? So as you're working hard to attract new clients, you've got to make sure that they stick with you regardless of what health plan they're enrolled in. Remember, you are not selling them on a product per se, but rather you're selling them on the trust and the level of service that they receive from you. Those initial Medicare Advantage commissions, they're a great foundational income. But if you want to build momentum in this business, you've got to keep your clients in your book, right? The longer you can keep them, the more income you'll make in the long run. Plus, the more happy clients you have, the more referrals you're going to generate. It's kind of like the buy and hold strategy for retirement. If you aren't familiar with that, here's a quick summary. Some people enjoy picking single stocks on the stock market so they can make a quick profit. That's if everything goes well, right? A lot of people enjoy doing that in their spare time. But time and time again, the data shows this isn't really a good way to build wealth for 99% of people, right? Even Warren Buffett, famous investor, says, if you're picking single stocks and you're trying to do short sells, you're going to fail most of the time. Instead, most advisors recommend you diversify with index funds, and you hold them for decades if possible. Those funds will be reinvested time and time again, and your money starts to make you more money, if that makes sense, right? You want to get your money working for you. All right, so take that analogy and apply that to the insurance industry. You need to treat your insurance business the same way. Here's an excerpt from Good to Great by Jim Collins that I've shared with you guys on a previous episode about building a flywheel. Picture a huge, heavy flywheel, a massive metal disc mounted horizontally on an axle, about 30 feet in diameter, 2 feet thick, and weighing about 5,000 pounds. Now, imagine that your task is to get the flywheel rotating on the axle as fast and as long as possible. Pushing with great effort, you get the flywheel to inch forward, moving almost imperceptibly at first. You keep pushing, and after 2 or 3 hours of persistent effort, you get the flywheel to complete one entire turn. You keep pushing. The flywheel begins to move a bit faster, and with continued great effort, you move it around a second rotation. You keep pushing in a consistent direction. 3 turns, 4, 5, 6. The flywheel builds up speed. 7, 8, you keep pushing. 9, 10, it builds momentum. 11, 12, moving faster with each turn. 20, 30, 50, 100. Then at some point, breakthrough. The momentum of the thing kicks in your favor, hurling the flywheel forward turn after turn, its own heavy weight working for you. Here's the key there. You're pushing no harder than during the first rotation, but the flywheel goes faster and faster. Each turn of the flywheel builds upon work that you've done earlier, compounding your investment of effort. 1,000 times faster, then 10,000, then 100,000, the huge heavy disc flies forward with almost unstoppable momentum. I love analogies, if you can't tell. But it really does help us to put this into practice. So take your book of business and view it the same way. The idea there would be, if you're getting good at retention, you'll then get good at referrals. And that means that down the line, as you're building this book of business, you shouldn't be working much harder once you have several hundred clients than you were working when you just had a few, right? You're letting things compound. We also know that even though CMS has been cracking the whip on all of these Medicare scams that are out there, your clients are still being bombarded with advertisements telling them to switch plans. And as a result, guess what? They're going to switch agents. So you have to play defense in this competitive environment. Here's a quick story for you. So my grandmother passed away, unfortunately, about over a year ago, and she was on a Humana Medicare Advantage plan. So this year at Christmas, I was talking to my dad, and he was asking me about the mail. He was telling me that he keeps getting tons of mail every day for my grandma so that she can switch Medicare Advantage plans. Again, she's passed away over a year ago now. Side note, you might want to consider what I just said when it comes to your lead data on your mailing list. That's not what today's episode is about. The point is, even beyond the grave, people are reaching out to folks to get them to switch their Medicare plan. So, you have to play defense. So what can you do to boost client retention? All right, well, we've discussed the importance of client retention. Now let's get into some of the ways to implement this in your business. Before we get into the weeds, here is one phrase that best summarizes what we're talking about, and that's keep in touch marketing. Keep in touch marketing. It's marketing for the sake of being familiar and building on the relationship with your customer. Hey guys, wanted to take a moment to tell you about a great resource to help you grow your insurance business, and that is called the Broker Link. It's our free agent portal provided to all agents of the brokerage, but also if you're just interested in learning more about the brokerage, you can set up a free account today. So set up your free account in the Broker Link. It's our all-in-one agent resource center, and you will get instant access to our quote engines, training library, online contracting, and much more. Definitely want to invite you to do that. So how do you do it? Just go to thebrokerageinc.com and click Get Started. Again, that's thebrokerageinc.com. Get started. So first of all, you've got to be a good agent. That's pretty obvious, right? But it's still worth noting. Reflect on the previous enrollment season and look for areas where you can improve, whether that's your process, your interpersonal skills, your sales skills, your communication skills. Whatever you think needs improvement, make that a priority this year. That is the number one best thing you can do right off the bat, is just take a moment, reflect, and see where you can improve. Beyond that, you have to get your client data in order. This is the time of year to take care of that. Okay, a lot of folks, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, they want to start getting all of their client data in order right about October. That is not the time to be doing it. I mean, you might want to freshen things up right around October, but at the beginning of the new year is a great time to, whether that's a CRM, a spreadsheet, leveraging the tech we provide here at the brokerage, whatever works best for you. Pull reports on all those important details that you've been collecting, like their birthdays, their preferred method of contact. Don't just treat everyone the same, okay? Not everyone wants a call, a text, an email. People have preferences, right? So take a note of that. Take a note of their spouse and their kids' names and their ages, right? Because not only will that help you with familiarity, that also could help you to cross-sell down the road when that's relevant. You might think, wow, that sounds like a lot of work. My data is pretty messy. I get it, but this stuff really matters. If you don't do it, you can't complain when people aren't loyal to you. Remember, insurance is not their world. They don't wake up every day, if they're normal people. They're not waking up every day going, man, I want to read about insurance and Medicare today. No, they have a life, and you're their broker, and that's what you provide to them, right? So if you're not keeping in touch, if you don't know those relevant details, someone else will. Because as I just said, even beyond the grave, people are trying to get Medicare business. All right, so send those birthday cards. Send birthday cards. This can be automated using software like our friends at Client Circle, formerly known as Rocket Referrals. There's a ton of options for doing this. That's just one of the options. And it doesn't have to be automated, but I just want you to know that those kinds of options exist. And you may think, birthday cards, does that really make that much of a difference? I think so. I mean, I get birthday cards from a few of the different companies that I've worked with, and it does make a difference. It does, because I do remember those people by name. It's just something to do, especially when, again, remember, you're not selling a product. The entire thing that you are selling is their relationship with you, right? So, beyond that, here's another recommendation. Set up a 30, 60, 90-day check-in this time of year where you can make sure that your clients are taken care of. We have scripts for this on the broker link. If you just go into the search bar and you say, call scripts, I believe is where we have that located. This could be a call, it could be a text, it could be mail, email. Again, going back to preferred method of contact, whatever your client prefers. And again, you may be thinking, as your book of business grows, you're like, man, I can't call everybody. I don't have time for that. First of all, you don't have to call everyone, but you do need to check in at 30 days. Hi, Mrs. Smith. I just wanted to check in with you and see how things are going with your plan. Did you have any questions that maybe I could help you with? That would be a very simple script for you, right? 60 days, same thing. Hey, Mrs. Smith, and then maybe throw in a little personal detail, right? Conversational. Just wanted to confirm again that everything's going okay with your plan. Did you need help finding any providers? Did you have any questions I could help you with? You do that, 30, 60, 90-day check-ins, whether, again, text, email, call, whatever's best for that client. When they start getting bombarded with ads, they've gotten a birthday card from you. They've gotten follow-up communications from you. They know who their broker is, right? That's the kind of relationship that you want to be building. A lot of our agents have found success, and I've seen examples of folks doing this with monthly email newsletters containing helpful, health-related topics, insurance Q&As, and even non-insurance topics. You could plan these out several months in advance. And there's also services like our friends at Brightfire, where your blog is automatically updated each week with new content. So if you have a Brightfire website, you get new blog posts every week. You don't even have to write them. Pretty cool, right? But whether you're subscribed to their service or another service, the point is you want to be providing some regular helpful content. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? And then you could also share the same content on your social media if your clients are following you there, right? And as I've said in the past, you don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to do all the things, right? It's not necessary for everyone. But if you're trying to get serious about building your brand, building your client retention, getting more referrals, these are what you have to do. These are the things you've got to do. It's just part of it. So again, if you don't want to do it yourself, invest in a way to automate it, right? That would kind of be the two buckets, in my opinion. These things need to happen. You need to do these things if you're trying to get serious, you're trying to grow the business. So ask yourself, do I want to do these things? Do I want to outsource these things? Either way, this is a time of year to figure that out, because as you're scaling, you want to get more efficient. You want to keep more clients. These are the things you've got to do, okay? Just a little thought there. But yeah, you don't have to overthink these like newsletters. And again, you could just send it once a month. You could even just send it once a quarter. I think even that's okay in our industry. Because these clients, they don't have to hear from you all the time, but you do need to keep in touch. Last little note here about methods for keeping in touch. This is also a great time of year to send an NPS survey, and that means Net Promoter Score. We've talked about that before. If you go into some past episodes, I may have Chris Houston put that as a link in the description here. Or just simply a review request, right? Like for a Google review as part of your follow-up, right? As you're doing these follow-up calls. And there's all kinds of software and CRMs that will automate this for you, right? Anything that you can automate, I believe you should automate. So, if a client leaves a good review, great. You know this person is probably going to stay loyal, and this is a person to try to get referrals from. But also, if they don't leave you a good review, you know that you have some work to do with that person. You have some follow-up to do, and you guys could probably get it worked out, right? I know there are clients out there that are just very difficult, and they just cannot be pleased. And for those folks, do what you think is best. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, to start wrapping this episode up, remember this time of year, especially if you are on the Medicare side, there are some do's and don'ts for OEP marketing, right? So remember, this time of year, here's how you can market. If I'm aging into Medicare, right? I'm turning 65 or I'm retiring. I'm new to Medicare, right? You can be marketing to me about getting onto Medicare. If I qualify for a special enrollment period, right? There's always SEPs. If there's a 5-star Medicare Advantage plan that I live in that area, right? You can market that to me. If I am recently dual eligible or I qualify for low income subsidies, right? There are also special cases for that, right? Those are your main areas. I'm aging into Medicare. I'm new to Medicare. I qualify for an SEP. There's a 5-star plan, or I am in that low income category. But here's what you can't do. This is not the time of year where you send unsolicited communication that, hey, it's OEP, it's time to make a plan change, right? Because that could be seen as tricking people. It's not really the time of year to make a plan change. That's not what OEP is for. If anything, OEP is simply, if I made a choice I wasn't happy with as a consumer, as a Medicare eligible consumer, if I made a choice I wasn't happy with, I can kind of make that right during this time period. That's what the time period's for. So if a client reaches out to you wanting to make a change, great. That is your job. It's your job to help them out. But you can't be advertising that it's OEP, it's time to make a change. Very important. Be careful not to cross that line. Again, this is why the 30, 60, 90-day check-in is so vital because regardless of CMS oversight, there's always going to be rule breakers that are trying to reach out to your clients this time of year. And if they just know that you're there, and if they have any questions or any concerns, they can reach out to you and you'll get it right. You'll be good. You'll be good. Super important. All right, folks. Well, I want to wish you a happy new year. Thanks so much for listening today. It's going to be a great year together. We've got a lot of great content in store for you, and we will see you next week.
You've been listening to The Broker Link, where we empower insurance agents to sell more, earn more, and stay independent. If you're looking for a partner dedicated to helping you grow your insurance business, visit us at thebrokerageinc.com. We'll see you next week.
Hey guys, thanks again for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate you being here. If you've been listening to us for some time, or even if this is your first time of exposure to the Brokerage Inc., a lot of folks ask us, how do I get started, or how do I learn more about getting started with the brokerage? I want to give you a little bit of info about that real quick. The best way that you can learn about getting started with us is just go to thebrokerageinc.com. Right there on the homepage, there's a button that says Get Started. That would be my first step for you. Thebrokerageinc.com, Get Started. And that's going to prompt you to set up a free account in our agent portal. Now from there, you're going to get an inside look at everything we offer. And we'll even connect you to some very helpful new agent advisors here at the brokerage that can answer any questions you may have. There's no pressure. We're not going to try to force you. We only want people that want to work with us. That's the truth at the end of the day. And if that's you, if you're interested in working with us, I would encourage you today, go to thebrokerageinc.com, get started, and then again, you can take an inside look at everything we offer, and then our team can guide you from there if you want to move forward.